A critical flaw in Laravel Reverb is opening the door for remote code execution, and it all comes down to how it handles data from Redis.
I'm Morgan. That's Alex. Let's break it down.
So Laravel Reverb is this real-time WebSocket communication backend. It's popular because it makes scaling Laravel apps pretty easy. But in versions 1.6.3 and below, there's a massive hole. It takes data from a Redis channel and passes it directly into PHP's unurates reisolated.
Wait, unserialize? That's like a classic security red flag in the PHP world. I feel like we've been talking about the dangers of insecure deserialization for a decade.
Exactly. It doesn't restrict which classes can be instantiated. If an attacker can get malicious data into that Redis channel, they can basically execute whatever code they want on the server. And the kicker is that a lot of Redis servers are deployed without authentication, which makes this way easier to exploit if you're using horizontal scaling.
Right, because if that Redis instance is exposed, or even just reachable internally by a compromised neighbor, it's game over. It's that trusting the internal network trap again.
Exactly. Now, moving from web frameworks to meeting software, there's a critical issue in MeetingHub developed by Hamistar Technology. This is CVE 2026-1331.
Hamistar. I haven't heard that name in a bit. What's the bug?
It's an arbitrary file upload vulnerability. Unauthenticated remote attackers can just upload a web shell backdoor and execute code. It's about as straightforward and dangerous as it gets. CVSS 9.8.
A 9.8 for a file upload usually means there's zero validation on the file type or the destination. It's basically handing the keys to the kingdom to anyone who can reach the server.
Pretty much. And sticking with the theme of unauthenticated access, we have to talk about WordPress, specifically the LA Studio Element Kit for Elementor plugin.
Let me guess. Another plugin that lets you become an admin without a password?
Spot on. This is CVE 2026-0920. The plugin has a function called Ajax Register Handle that doesn't check what role a new user is requesting. An attacker can just send a parameter called lacket_bkrole during registration and make themselves a site administrator.
That is remarkably simple. It's a reminder that even if your WordPress core is patched, one loose plugin can bypass everything. If you're using that LA Studio Kit, you need to be on version 1.5.6.4 or higher immediately.
Beyond the patches, there's a big story coming out of Cisco today. They've confirmed that a critical flaw in Unified Communications Manager, or Unified CM, is being actively exploited as a zero-day.
Wait, Unified CM? That's the heart of the phone system for huge enterprises. If that's being hit in the wild, that's a massive deal. What's the actual impact?
It's CVE 2026-20045. It allows an unauthenticated remote attacker to execute arbitrary commands. Cisco says it also affects WebEx calling dedicated instance. They've released patches, but the fact that it was caught being used before the patch was ready means someone was very targeted with this.
This feels like those Avanti or Fortinet zero days we saw last year. Attackers are going after the infrastructure that handles the most sensitive communications. If you can't trust your internal phone and meeting system, what can you trust?
Exactly. It's high-value infrastructure. Speaking of high-value targets, there's a new ransomware strain called Osiris that's been making waves. It recently hit a major food service franchisee in Southeast Asia.
Osiris. That's a new name. Are they doing anything different, or is it the same old playbook?
They're using a technique called Bring Your Own Vulnerable Driver, or BYOVD. Specifically, they're using a malicious driver called Portree to disarm security software on the target machines.
Portree. I remember that driver being linked to some high-level state-sponsored stuff and other big ransomware groups in the past. It's basically a way to kill the antivirus before it can even blink.
Right. If the EDR is dead, the ransomware can encrypt everything without any resistance. It's a sophisticated move for a new group, which suggests they might be an offshoot of an older operation.
Or just buying the tools from the same developers. Speaking of sophisticated actors, did you see the report on the DPRK using VS Code tunnels?
I did. This is a clever living off the land move. They're using legitimate Microsoft infrastructure, specifically Visual Studio Code tunnels, to maintain remote access to compromised systems.
It's genius in a dark way. Most security teams aren't going to block traffic to official Microsoft domains. It looks like a developer just doing their job, but it's actually a direct line back to North Korean hackers.
Exactly. It's much harder to detect than a random connection to a known bad C2 server. And while we're on the subject of Microsoft, they're actually adding some new protection to Teams to fight this kind of thing.
Oh, the brand impersonation warnings? I saw that. It's supposed to flag external callers who are trying to look like they're from a trusted organization.
Yeah, it's a social engineering defense. If someone calls you on Teams and their ID says IT support, but they're coming from an external tenant, Teams will give you a heads up. It's a small change, but with the rise of deepfakes and sophisticated phishing, it's necessary.
Definitely. Every little bit of friction for the attacker helps. Before we wrap up, I wanted to mention that research from the Graz University of Technology. They've apparently found a way to optimize those old Linux page cache exploits.
Right. They've revived an old attack vector. It's a reminder that just because a technique is old doesn't mean it's gone. Researchers and attackers are always finding ways to make old exploits faster and more reliable.
It's a constant cycle. All right, Alex, what's the priority for today?
If you're running Cisco Unified CM, that's your number one. CVE 2026-20045 is being exploited right now. After that, check your Laravel Reverb versions for CVE 2026-23524. Deserialization bugs in scaling environments are a ticking time bomb.
Your daily AI-powered security briefing. If this saved you time, subscribe. We're here every morning.
Stay patched, stay paranoid.